Hey guys, this is Vishal here, and this comparison we put iPhone 10 and Samsung Galaxy Note 8 head to head, looking at their designs, features, tech specs and features. We'll help you decide whether to buy the Note 8 or the iPhone 10. 2017 appears to be the year the bezels died, and both the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 and the iPhone 10 continues this theme. The iPhone 7 and the 8 are largely the same in terms of exterior design. The iPhone 10 is very different. It has an almost edge-to-edge screen, which means it has a larger screen than the iPhone 8 Plus in body that's closer to the size of the iPhone 8. The Note 8 is pretty much all screen, so much so that its display curves around the edges of the handset. Aside from that, both phones features a glass back panel to allow for wireless charging capability. The iPhone 10 features a dual camera array like the old iPhone 7 Plus, but also features an optical image stabilization. Just as before, both cameras are 12 megapixel, although one uses a wide-angle f2.4 lens and the other has f1.8 glass for more portrait-oriented shots. The Note 8 is pretty much the same and has a dual camera too. There's a f1.7 12 megapixel camera for portrait style shots and another f2.4 telephoto camera for everything else. Both cameras come with optical image stabilization, but the iPhone also adds True Tone. First introduced in the iPhone 6, it makes the pictures with the flash used look less cool and more natural looking. Hardware aside, both phones also feature something called the Live Focus, which essentially allow you to tinker with things such as the bokeh after you have taken the shots. Both handsets features impressive technology that will make your pictures even better. Whether you want to take pictures of people, places or things, the camera system in either of these phones will serve you well. The specs are similar too, although the iPhone 10 does give you the ability to take better portraits on its front-facing camera, so your selfies will look a little more professional. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 features a fingerprint reader, an iris scanner and a face detection, while the iPhone 10 ditches the Touch ID for a Face ID. The Face ID uses a face to unlock your smartphone, although some people have suggested it can be unlocked by pictures, but I don't think that's true. Either ways, Apple says Face ID is much more secure than its outgoing Touch ID fingerprint reader. Although Apple says Face ID is much more secure than the Touch ID, but many people will be uncomfortable using it. And apart from the traditional passcode, Apple isn't offering any alternatives. In contrast, the Note 8 gives you 4 different ways to unlock your phone, including the face detection, and therefore has a win here. The iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8 are the first iPhones to have the wireless charging, although the technology first appeared on the Android phones years ago. The Samsung Note 8 has the wireless fast charging capability too. It's great Apple has finally added wireless charging to its iPhone, but it's a case of too little too late. The chief standard that the iPhone 10 uses is widely used, but much slower than the mature Samsung fast charging tech that the Note 8 is capable with. The one time would be happy for Apple to unveil its own proprietary version of the connection standard, and it doesn't do it. The iPhone 10 is rated IP67, which is only 1 point below the highest common rating, and an indication that it is dust tight and is capable of withstanding liquid immersion up to 1 meter. But the Note 8 goes on one better, offering IP68, which means it can survive beyond 1 meter. We are not huge fans of the stylus on the phablets, but it doesn't hurt to have an option. The Samsung Note 8 has an S Pen stylus that pops out when you tap it. The iPhone 10 doesn't come with a stylus, and while you could buy a third-party model, it isn't compatible with the company's own Apple Pencil stylus, which is for iPad Pros only. The iPhone 10 has a huge 5.8-inch screen, while the Note 8 has an even larger 6.8-inch display. The Note 8 uses one of the Samsung's impressive OLED screen, but for the first time ever, Apple's iPhone uses OLED technology too. What's more, the Apple screen also features a True Tone display, something which effectively white balances the screen to the surrounding light to make colors look more natural. The iPhone X's OLED screen represents a watershed moment for the iPhone because it's the first time Apple has used the traditionally Samsung associated tech. The result is an incredible screen, but one that is slightly smaller than the one on the Samsung Note 8. Significantly, the Samsung screen also falls off the edge of the smartphone, making it a little more impressive. We have to give the Samsung a win here, just for that. The Note 8 has an always-on display, which is to say that you can see the time, date notification at a glance without needing to wake the screen fully, a convenient feature. If you're worried about the effect this will take on the battery life, you can configure it to be active only during a certain time period. The iPhone X screen is blank until you wake it or a notification appears. Live to wake makes it fairly minor hardship to check the time, but that's still a point to Samsung. The iPhone X has a dual-lens rear-facing camera and uses this to offer portrait mode, an SLR-style bokeh photo effect that keeps the subject of the photo in focus while blurring the background. It looks great and we'll love it. Portrait lighting is an additional set of lighting effects available within the portrait mode of the iPhone X. There are 4 additional effects you can apply on top of the standard portrait mode. One brightens up the highlights, one darkens the lowlights, and the last 2 cut out the subject and put them in front of a dark background. They're not particularly reliable, but occasionally they can produce stunning effects with almost no effort. The Samsung also has a dual lens camera on the back, and its live focus features also allows you to add and adjust a bokeh effect after the shot is taken. Where Apple may have an advantage is that its portrait mode bokeh features is also available on the front-facing camera. The Samsung Galaxy Note 8 pairs with a 6GB of RAM with the company's Exynos chip, and until the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X, it blew everything out of the water. We have benchmarked the Samsung's Note 8 and the iPhone X, and must say that the iPhone X is the fastest phone we have ever tested. The results don't lie, especially when it comes to the sheer performance. So the iPhone X has to take the win for this one. However, it's unlikely you'll really notice the difference between these handsets in day-to-day tasks. So, both handsets are pretty expensive, but which one should you part with your cash for? The iPhone X is the most exciting Apple smartphone in ages because it gives us features we have been waiting for years. However, there's a huge catch, and that's the enormous price of the phone. The iPhone X costs Rs 89,000 for the 64GB variant, whereas the 256GB variant costs around Rs 1,02,000. Meanwhile, the Note 8 costs Rs 67,900 for the 64GB variant, although that storage can be expandable via memory card. At Rs 89,000, the 64GB version of the new iPhone is 21,100 more than the Note 8 and doesn't do that much more. In contrast, the Note 8 represents a far less exciting update for Samsung, but it's hard to argue with its specs. Sure, it might not have the outright performance of the iPhone X, but it seems to deliver on everything else, from biometric security to camera performance. Ultimately, this ends up the same as many iPhone versus Android phone showdowns. Both the phones are really great, and hopefully we have made it easier for you guys to decide whether you want to go for the Apple or the Samsung. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video on the comparison on the iPhone X and the Samsung Note 8. And if you did, please make sure you subscribe to our channel to see more videos like these, and make sure you press the like button. Thank you for watching everyone. This is Vishal, and I shall catch you in my next video.